Hello, Circus. So nice to be with you, even though it's virtual. Hope to see you all very soon, and congratulations on a great looking show, yeah? I'm just going to share a little bit of my recent research in Southeast Asia. Informality is an observation I have made looking at places such as Manila, Java, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, where it seems to be the case that the traditional understanding of formal versus informal planning is kind of defied, maybe even completely outdated. I want to look at a few of these examples and kind of take apart their structural essence, to look at the autonomy of these informal settlements and suggest that, if anything, they are the real smart cities, and they are at least the environments that we shouldn't just be nostalgic about, we shouldn't just obsess about from an almost romantic standpoint, but we should study them and understand them, even to plan our formal cities. The weird thing is that the discipline currently is in a kind of at a split in the road, where we have to choose: are we going to maintain this dichotomy of global urbanism that is very much top-down planning with global investments that is geared towards nation building through glitzy large-scale projects, versus, on the other hand, the kind of romanticism of the informal settlement, very much local micro interventions geared towards bottom-up planning and community building. I believe if we are talking about resilience globally of our urban environments, this dichotomy, this split, is not only outdated but counterproductive. So the smart cities, the eco-cities, must learn from the slums, the favelas, the ghettos, the desakota. I use these terms rather loosely, but in reality I believe there really is an underlying structure for all these environments. They all present one driving force that unites them. I'll give you a quick example just here on my doorstep in Shanghai of this kind of global generic urbanism, big boxes. We've all seen it before, creating kind of anonymous, at least fairly alienating public landscapes, and systems that are road dependent, and where the residential component is mostly consistent of these large repetitive blocks stacked on top of each other. Hyper efficient, generating affordable housing, but also creating this outdated mode of urbanization where we simply grasp new ways to appropriate land somewhere on a green field, in this case Ordos, using roads to cordon off areas and then fill them in with these boxes. On the opposite spectrum is the kind of cliche image of the slum, the informal settlement, in this case Manila. What is very clear is that looking at these images, they present an immediate complementary component to the formal city. They support the formal city and feed off the formal city. They have a mutual relationship that is completely binary. They depend on each other and feed off each other. So we all know that these types of environments, if given the opportunity to create some security, they will foster a strong sense of community. You see here, rather funny, that it has already this really sophisticated local society with all the perks of a modern city. In certain instances, then the formal planner comes in and kind of presents a new solution, in this case these cable cars, that infrastructurally don't do much, but they do have put these areas in Latin America, in this case Rio, on the map, and they did make for a stronger, prouder community. So it has been beneficial to some extent. More importantly, beyond the chaos, almost the anarchy of these environments, in this case the slums in Mumbai, near Dharavi, is in reality every inch of this particular landscape is very much spoken for, following laws and bylaws. It follows the socio-economic restraints of this local community. Again, the formal planner comes in and tries to kind of mediate, here using sky bridges or skywalks. Those are footbridges that try to connect the stations to these informal settlements. It's a step in the right direction. You see here this network of slums in Mumbai, which together form 7 million people, effectively London within the city of Mumbai Island. So this network condition really reflects the same type of networked landscape, networked city we see across the world, in the Pearl River Delta, in Boston, New York, etc. There is a similar hierarchy. And if you zoom in this case on Dharavi here in purple, that continues to a micro scale, to a micro degree, where you have the same hierarchy of roads from your big highways at 20 meters. It's the slum derivative of a highway, going down 15A3 all the way down to a micro fine grid of half a meter, where you have to literally squeeze yourself through, but you can reach every single little home. So you could argue that these pockets in the metropolis are really reflecting the real metropolis. A slum needs to just simply be scaled up 4 times to reveal itself as having the same logic, the same structure and morphology as the traditional city. If we have a look at the Pearl River Delta, that's particularly clear. This is Guangzhou, and you see these homes really being packed together very, very tightly in this climate that actually works very well. Again, with a community that is really able to kind of sustain itself both locally, working on the field, and with close proximity to a mega city such as Guangzhou and Shenzhen. So from the top, this kind of intricate logic really presents itself. It is a modular system. It is like a city, even though not designed centrally, but very much still following a coherent structure with green, little mini parks, little lakes, etc. You can take that same logic and scale it up, especially in China, which is sort of the epitome of the formally planned environment, and especially Shenzhen, which is sort of the youngest megalopolis in the world. You would argue, okay, that's where the planners got their way and really have produced this new landscape out of nowhere. But nothing could be further from the truth. If you look at the yellow, that's a 10 million people large Shenzhen today. You see at the north side scattered about these pockets of informal settlements, here in red, orange, and yellow. In reality, even today, half the population lives in these informal settlements. Even today, they generate a large part of the economy of this boomtown. So the dream of Shenzhen could not have become a reality without that kind of counterpart of the informal settlement. And these informal settlements are now kind of dominating the evolution of the countryside. This is Java here in the center. This is Manila, this is Tacloban, a rural town where you see that they kind of form these organic strings across the natural landscape. Here, Java again. So this will be where the urbanism is taking us in the 21st century. A kind of a casual yet opportunistic peri-urban type of urbanization, type of expansion. And this relationship to the countryside becomes then increasingly important. We need to feed each other, we need to feed ourselves, we need to do that sustainably. So in this case, in my last few slides, you see a village in Guangzhou, rather next to Guangzhou, very much part of the rural heritage there, where people, especially seniors, are still living off the land, but are already part of this urban economy. What is striking is not only that there is history, that there is a dense fabric that actually works really well, that there is a local community, that there is even a lot of beauty to be found, a lot of leisurely opportunities for having a stroll, that there is even a picturesque kind of quality to them. The most striking part of this particular environment is that it seems to supply in a need that that the modern planner, the contemporary planner, is seeking so desperately at the moment. If we look at these cracks and nooks of where these blocks come together, you cannot help but think of our obsession with the compact city to make these environments that are so space intensive, to make efficient urban expansions. Here that is already the case, and local farm communities have built it themselves. It works, and it has been working for a long time. It actually does more than work. It is absolutely vibrant with life and activity. Even at night it's rather beautiful. So to conclude, if we try to take over the slum, we will fail simply because we won't be able to plan as efficient, as compact, as socially sensible as these informal settlements have done for years. We won't be able to be as intricate. They are on 4 points much smarter than the traditional modern planner. Technically, they build things that are cheaper and more sophisticated with minimum resources. They create square meters. They use the land so much more efficient than we could ever do as designers. They build affordable on a level that we could never achieve, and they support a beautiful, intricate local community. So my message is clear. I think it's a message of all my friends at the circus. I hope to see you all very soon.